Welcome to the Grand Casino in Barcelona, Spain, and the PartyPoker.com World Heads Up Championship 2005. I'm Mike Carlson. It's a beautiful night in Barcelona, and this is the final of the PartyPoker.com World Heads Up Championship. It's taken us 126 games to get to this point, and now we know that there are two players here, and only one can be the champion. Only one can take home the €100,000 first prize. Will it be Simon Noab from Burnley in England, who got here by beating his best friend and poker-playing partner, John Falconer, in his semifinal? Or will it be Peter Gunnarsson, the 27-year-old Swede who knocked out El Blondie, Dave Kalkloff, the experienced veteran from Wales and one of Europe's top players, in his semifinal? It'll be a real contrast in poker-playing styles. And speaking of contrast in styles, my commentary partner is the poker professional, the professor, Pete Singleton, and he's waiting in the casino to talk about this final. Let's go in and see what he has to say. And I'm here at the Grand Casino with Pete Singleton. And Pete, this is the big one, the big prize, the big money, the big final. And for Simon Noab, it's going to be a very different match than his semifinal.
It certainly is. Yesterday he started off with a match against his friend John Falconer. You could see it was a bit of banter, it was friendly, it was laughing. And then when Simon lost the chips, didn't he just change tactics, Mike, to get those chips back?
And once he got to his real game, we saw exactly what he is: unpredictable.
Yeah, there's no set plays with Simon. He pulls his plays from thin air. Like you said, unpredictable, hard to read.
On the other hand, it seemed like Peter Gunnarsson had a very good game plan against Dave Kalkloff.
Yeah, Peter Gunnarsson, most of his plays are well thought out. He sits there for several seconds before he makes a play. And to be honest with you, he was in control of that match right from the word go. And Dave never really got a look in, did he?
He's only 27, but he plays like an experienced veteran.
Yeah, once again, a lot of internet experience, and that counts for a lot in some of these matches. And today, I think we're going to see a different contrasting style. It's the Fox, that's Simon, and the Farmer, that's Peter. It's going to be one hell of a game to watch.
The wild man, Simon Noab, against the very controlled Peter Gunnarsson. It's the final for all the money, all the prizes at the PartyPoker.com World Heads Up Poker Championship 2005. If you're new to poker, the lowest hand is a high card. A king in this case. One pair beats a high card, two pair beats one pair. Three of a kind, also known as a set or trips. Trip eights here, beats two pair. Five cards in numerical sequence, regardless of suit, is a straight. Any five cards of the same suit is a flush, which beats a straight. A full house is three of a kind, plus a pair. Four of a kind, like these four aces, beats a full house. Five cards in numerical order in the same suit is a straight flush. Make that straight flush ace high, and it's a royal flush, the highest hand in poker. The game is No Limit Texas Hold'em. Each player is dealt two cards face down called their hole cards. A round of betting follows. Then three community cards called the flop are dealt face up in the middle of the board. The flop is followed by a second round of betting, then a fourth community card. The turn is also dealt face up. The turn is followed by a third round of betting. Then comes the final community card, the river. Each player uses his hole cards and the community cards to make his best five-card poker hand. And remember, it's no limit, so a player can go all in, betting all his chips at any time.
This tournament here is really well organized. It's in a nice location in a beautiful city here in Barcelona, and it proves to be very popular. This tournament is now, I think it's year 5 now. It started in Vienna first 3 years, then it moved to Barcelona, and I followed the action of the last years, and it's getting more and more popular, and every player wants to be part of this prestigious tournament.
Each player will start with 320,000 in chips. The blinds start at 3,000 and 6,000. The player with the button, the nominal dealer, puts in the small blind. The other player puts in the big blind. The small blind will be first to speak. Each player gets two cards face down. He keeps those. The other 5 cards in the flop are shared. The first 3 the flop, then the turn, and then the river. The players make the best 5-card hand out of the 7 that are available. And first to speak on the first hand will be the Swede, Peter Gunnarsson. Sweden against England.
And Peter folds.
Here's Simon's player profile, Mike.
Known as the Edge, Simon Noab from Burnley in the north of England. He's 36 years old. He's won 17 tournaments. And I think outgoing, ebullient would be the way to describe him.
Ebullient. Very nice, Mike. Very nice.
And a contrast, very quiet, very controlled Peter Gunnarsson, the 27-year-old Swede who won the St. Martin Open in the Caribbean back in 2003. Also, like most Scandinavian players, does a lot of online playing.
Here's hand 2.
So, call from Simon Noab, check from Peter Gunnarsson. We'll see a flop. 3-5 against Queen 6. And there's a Queen and a 5. Bet is 9,000 from Peter Gunnarsson. Simon Noab calls. So let's see the turn. And it's a 3, giving Simon Noab 2 pair. There's also 3 spades showing, giving Peter Gunnarsson a flush draw. And this time Simon bets and Peter calls. And now the dealer Alex will turn over the river card, which is the king of spades, making the flush for Peter Gunnarsson. $18,000 the bet from Simon Noab.
And as you can see, Peter has the spade, but he's not too sure. He'll probably call him at the end of this, but he's not too sure that Simon doesn't have a spade, so he'll probably just flat call him, I think. You know, it's early doors.
2 pair.
And that's exactly what he does. And Simon just folds his cards, saying, I think he figured he had him, but he had to find out.
Yeah, I think Simon said to him just 2 pair, but Peter was thinking that, as we said early doors, Peter very thoughtful in his plays, and he wasn't going to risk anything, he wasn't going to do anything silly, he was just going to flat call him and say, well, if you've got a spade bigger than mine, I'm going to play you off.
And here's how Simon Noab got through to the final. A couple of big scalps on his belt there, especially Rory Liffey from Ireland and Paul Action Jackson from Britain. And, of course, in the semifinal, he beat his playing partner and best friend, Burnley John Falconer.
Yeah, I think he'll start off in this game with a lot different attitude than he did in that game, though.
And Peter Gunnarsson, it wasn't an easy road for him either. Mickey the Kid Wernick, Simon Aces Trumper, a tremendous game with Pascal Perot, and then the very surprising, I wouldn't say easy win, but dynamic win against Dave Kalkloff.
And he controlled that game really all the way through, didn't he? He was never really under any great pressure. So, like I say, be interesting to see these pair because it's this might well be a different type of game.
So